When we think of the greatest inventors of all time, a few names instantly come to mind: Henry Ford, the Wright brothers, Thomas Edison. But there's one name you don't hear as often, though his work is likely powering your phone, your lights, even your fridge right now. His name is Nikola Tesla. This is the story of a forgotten genius. And this story begins at the end. On January 7, 1943, a maid at the New Yorker hotel walked into room 3327, the longtime home of an old man who had been living there alone for over a decade. There, she found the body of Nikola Tesla, aged 86. He died penniless and alone. He survived on a diet of crackers and warm milk, and spent his days feeding pigeons outside his window. How did one of the most brilliant minds in history fade into obscurity and die forgotten? The answer lies in the life he lived. Tesla was born during a violent lightning storm on July 10, 1856, in Smiljan, in what is now Croatia. Legend says the midwife said, "This child will be one of darkness." To which his mother replied, "No, he will be a child of light." She had no idea how prophetic those words would be. When Tesla was just 5, his older brother died in a horse riding accident, a trauma that haunted him for life. From an early age, he began having vivid visions, flashes of light, intense imagery that blurred the line between reality and imagination. But these visions helped him see inventions inside his mind, in complete detail, no blueprints needed. Tesla had a photographic memory, inherited from his mother, Duca Mandic, who used to invent small tools around the house. He could perform calculus in his head and eventually spoke 8 languages. His father, a priest, wanted him to follow the same path, but Tesla wanted to build. At age 17, he nearly died from cholera. In a desperate moment, his father promised to send him to engineering school if he survived. And he did. Tesla enrolled in the Austrian Polytechnic School in Graz. He studied from 3 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily, so obsessively that professors feared he'd collapse from exhaustion. Despite his brilliance, he dropped out after developing a gambling addiction, cutting ties with his family and disappearing for a time. His friends thought he had drowned in a river. Tesla drifted across Europe and eventually worked as an electrician in Budapest. One day in a park, the idea hit him: a motor powered by alternating current, AC. That idea would change the world. By 1882, he moved to Paris to work for Thomas Edison's company. 2 years later, Tesla arrived in New York, with only 4 cents in his pocket. He met Edison, and at first, they admired each other deeply. Edison even said, "I've had many hardworking assistants, but you take the cake." But they soon became rivals. Edison backed direct current. Tesla believed in alternating current. Why? Because AC can travel farther and carry more power safely, unlike DC, which flows in only one direction. Tesla claimed he was promised $50 if he improved DC machines. He did, but never got paid. When he asked about it, Edison reportedly said, "You don't understand our American humor." Tesla quit, and set out to change the world on his own. Tesla formed his own company in 1885, but investors stole everything. Broke and defeated, he dug ditches for $2 a day. Then came a breakthrough. In 1887, Tesla developed an induction motor that ran on AC, one of the most efficient ways to convert electricity to mechanical power. This caught the attention of George Westinghouse, a wealthy industrialist. He licensed Tesla's patents for $60, offered royalties, and paid him $2 per month, about $50 a month today. And so began the War of the Currents. Edison launched a brutal smear campaign. He funded the first electric chair to prove AC's danger, electrocuted animals in public, even filmed the execution of a circus elephant named Topsy in 1903. But it wasn't enough. In 1893, Tesla and Westinghouse lit up the Chicago World's Fair, proving to 27 million visitors that AC was the future. Then, they built the first AC power plant at Niagara Falls, supplying electricity to Buffalo. Tesla had just become a pioneer of renewable energy. But success didn't last. Westinghouse's company fell into massive debt. In 1897, Westinghouse asked Tesla to reduce his royalties, or the company would collapse. Tesla, in an incredible act of friendship and humility, ripped up the contract. He gave up $12 million, over $300 million today. Why? Because Westinghouse had believed in him when no one else would. In return, Tesla received a one-time payment of $216, enough to build a lab in New York. There, he met celebrities like Mark Twain, and invented Neon lighting. The bladeless Tesla turbine. Early X-ray images. One of the first remote controls in 1898. People thought it was magic. And the famous Tesla coil, which could generate enormous high-voltage arcs. In 1895, tragedy struck. Tesla's lab burned down, along with years of research. He applied for a radio patent 2 years later, but by then, Guglielmo Marconi had beat him to it, using 17 of Tesla's patents. The U.S. Patent Office awarded Marconi the credit. Edison and others backed him financially. Marconi later won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1911. Tesla was furious and sued, but the case only ended in his favor after his death. He tried one last bold project, Wardenclyffe Tower, a massive transmitter to send free wireless communication across the globe. It was the internet, 100 years before its time. But backers pulled funding, and Tesla was forced to abandon it. He lost the tower. He lost everything. In 1933, Tesla moved into the New Yorker hotel. The Westinghouse Corporation paid his rent in quiet gratitude. He died in 1943, alone, in debt, and almost forgotten. Why? Because Tesla was never a businessman. He wasn't driven by profit, but by purpose. He gave up fortunes to advance science for humanity. He could have been the world's first billionaire. Instead, he chose to be a visionary. Today, everything from electricity to wireless communication, renewable energy to robotics, traces back to his mind. His mother once called him a child of light. And she was absolutely right. Thank you for watching the story of Nikola Tesla, the forgotten genius who lit the world. If this inspired you, like, share, and subscribe to GAU Legendary, where we tell the most powerful stories the world has forgotten. See you next time.